Righty guys, welcome back. Another vlog series episode on the Ranger. Road to 4x4 Expo is kicking in full swing. We've got the Ranger back in the shop here. We're going to do some cool stuff with the suspension. I probably should have done it before I did the body lift and all that sort of stuff, but we didn't. We weren't going to go to the 4x4 Expo with the Ranger. Plans have changed, we now are. So yeah, some things that were sort of later down the line on the mod list for this thing we've brought forward. So we're gonna do some cool stuff, get the Ranger prepped and ready to showcase up at the show there. So we're gonna get the tub off now, and we've got some spicy stuff over behind me here that we're gonna do some cutting, we're gonna do some welding and get the back end of this Ranger up underneath there looking spicy. So yeah, let's get it rolling. Righto guys, so we're nuts deep in getting the factory wheel side off the Ranger. I've just taken the lights out and the inner guard's been popped out. We've just got one more bolt underneath there for the fuel filler to be able to separate it from the tub, and then we can lift this bad boy off, separate it from the chassis, because we're doing something cool underneath with the suspension. Chris and his legendary team at Trundles Automotive have sent us these triple bypass 10-inch travel Profender shocks. So we're gonna slap those in just for ha-has. I respect that. They almost fit, but they don't. So we're gonna have to cut the factory shock mounts off, make our own custom mounts and package these shocks under there. So a little bit of a cool exercise. I've never actually run a set of triple bypass shocks on a truck before, so I'm excited about it, and I'm gonna get the grinder out and get cutting and package these shocks up under the Ranger. I respect that. Tub is off. Grabbed a few measurements before we lifted it off, just because we are putting the tub back on, and I just wanted to package those shocks up there without it clashing on anything on the tub. So took a few measurements, and yeah, we're good to go. Thought I'd give you a quick look at what we're doing under here before we cut everything off. So that's the factory shock mount here. It's got a through pin that goes all the way through the chassis and out the other side. We're going to shift that. We're going to take that out. The factory location on the bottom is almost exactly where we want it. It's just not wide enough to house the triple in its little slot there. So we'll cut that off, but we might brace it up and do something a little bit stronger. I wanted to try and lift it up, but we're using the factory tub. It's just not going to be achievable, I don't think. So we might be stuck with that shock mount location, but we'll just make a better shock mount, more braced up, something a little bit stronger. Same on the front. I was going to try and flip them and face both shocks back, but I'm just worried about with 35s, and we are putting some power into this thing with the diff and the axle sort of rolling forward under power and load and stuff. So we'll keep them staggered as they are. This one's going to come up slightly, and yeah, we're going to get rid of that exhaust. Going to do something cool with that as well. So we'll start with getting the exhaust out the way and cutting these old mounts off, strip a bit of wiring for the ABS and things like that out of the way, and yeah, prep it to weld some shock mounts in there. I respect that. CO6 vet, gripping, feeling almost there. Listening to Bon Jovi, rolling, living on a prayer. Privy to the gossip that's been said about me constant. It's the life and times of Bumpy Johnson meets Nucky Thompson. I used to rap about death, now I'm only concerned to live. I value relationships still, I keep it competitive. Nowadays, chances are if you see me throw them. Okay, so factory shocks are out. Shock mounts cut off the chassis. We've cleaned that up, and the axle. That's them down there. Clearly Ford had a bit on that day when they engineered those, because there's not a whole lot to them, but we've got some fish plates to go on here. We're going to mount the shock mounts, the new shock mounts that we've got going on. I'm going to go with a 50-50 split on the 10-inch travel shock, 5 inches up, 5 inches down travel, and we're going to keep the factory leaves for now. I quite like the way it rides on the factory leaves, and we're not carrying any weight other than the tub that was already on it, and a rooftop tent. So I'm gonna see how they ride and perform with the bypasses and the factory leaf suspension. But if I've worked it out right, and all the maths and all that sort of stuff, carry the one has worked out right, I think we'll be okay, and it should travel nice. And I don't know if we do need to upgrade to a sort of higher spring rate leaf pack when we put a bit of weight onto it, then we will. But I'm curious to find out how it travels for now. It was a bit cutting out this, and no hoist. I literally cut it out on the ground here as you see it. Didn't even jack it up, take the wheels off it. So I earned this one. I'm going to sit that back and transfer some markings and some working out onto some plate and get some suspension mounted up in here.
It ain't to lose the fight, it's to walk.
We're halfway there. We got one in. Both mounts, top and bottom, are in and welded in place. Yeah, it was slightly bigger to package than I anticipated, but I did measure it up. I knew it was the bottom hanger was gonna hang slightly lower than factory, about 10 mil lower than the factory shock mount. So 10 mil less ground clearance in there, but all gusseted it in and plated it in. Just got a little bit of welding to do on the insides here once the shock comes out. But otherwise, we're in and pretty happy with it actually. You can see it does hang touch low there, but only 10 mil lower than the factory. So it is what it is. To try and package them in under there with the factory tub still going back on. We're limited to height. We could go up, and it's going to be much the same when I put a tray on it, because I'm putting a full-size drawer on the tray when a tray does go on here. We had to be mindful of how high that mount was going to come so that everything under the tray clears and stuff like that. But that's the top mount, all fish plated on the top and the sides. I staggered it. You can sort of see it's like gusseted, it's angled, folded in such a way that everything clears. I've cycled it up with the forklift and just had a check before I welded everything in, make sure my measurements are right. But yeah, that's the top mount, all welded and buttoned up. She's pretty strong, all 4 mil steel plate. Same with the bottom. And yeah, we're golden. That's the passenger side done. I'm going to hook into the driver's side now and get him up in there and packaged and mount it up, splash some paint on it, and then I'm going to mount the resis to the well side, I think. I haven't figured that out yet. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but we'll get the tub back on, and I'm thinking I might mount the resis to the actual well side itself and do some cool bracketry, some cover plates, maybe some dimple dies and stuff like that. So it's 10:15 on a Sunday. I'm going to hook in, get this shock in, and see if we can get it nailed down today. So I just took some templates and some working out and things like that for the driver's side shock mounts and the fish plates and stuff on the driver's side. So I'm just going to pop them in the laser and get them cut out. Nah, I don't have a laser. I wish, but what I didn't do on the passenger side, sorry, was sort of show how I work out my templates and mark my shock mounts and how I figured it all out and blah blah blah, and how I transfer it from template to sheet metal and cut it out. I cut by hand, which is, some people say is dumb, but I actually quite enjoy it. I don't enjoy the cutting out, but I enjoy doing and making everything from scratch by hand. So call me crazy, but I'll give you a look at how I work my stuff out and transfer my templates to sheet metal and stuff like that. Alright, so this is my fish plate template that goes on the inside of the chassis on the driver's side there. I just worked that out just literally by holding it up against the chassis and tracing it out and working out exactly where I wanted it, and then just cutting the bit of cardboard or paper, it's actually a calendar, to suit, and then I just transfer it onto the sheet, onto the plate, and cut it out. That's the shock mounts for the bottom on the passenger side that I worked out. Cut them out of alloy. I don't know why. I kind of wanted to have them up in there and just work it out and slot a bolt through and to see if it was actually going to work the way I wanted it to, and it worked good. So yeah, literally just transferring my templates onto plate, mark it out, and then so I light it, cut it entirely by hand. I use my little plasma cutter here. It makes life easy, but yeah, just easy for like the radius sort of sides and things like that, rather than using a grinder. And then I just give them a clean up with the grinder on the linisher, and we're good to go. Bang them in, lay a weld on there, and she's golden. So it's pretty straightforward, easy stuff. There's no rocket science behind it, but that's a wee little bit of an insight into how I actually get my idea out of my head onto plate and into a part. The essentials: square, steel rules, bit of an angle gauge. I have a random selection of these little things that I just use for, like, you know, radiuses and things like that for marking out, make stuff easy. So yeah, that's that. I'm gonna get these cut out and lay some heat on them. So that's our part. I just cut it out with a laser cutter, clean up the edges, get it prepped, ready for welding. It literally lines up perfectly. Oh, there we go. So just template, cut out with a laser cutter, the plasma cutter, sorry. I wish I had a laser cutter. And it will just sit in just like that in there. Get welded to the chassis. I'll put a top plate on the top here because I'm gonna offstand the top of the shock mount off the top of the chassis as well. So we'll put a fish plate on there, weld it all up, and yeah, it's the same process for the shock mounts as well. I just literally make a template or just measure it up on the bit of plate and yeah, cut it out with the plasma, clean it up, weld them together, just like that.
I respect that. CO6 vet gripping, feeling almost.
Alright, so all the fab work's done, shock mounts are in, top and bottom. Nothing really to report other than the fact that it went together pretty smoothly. Worked all my templates out and everything, yeah, was pretty cruisy actually. Cycled it up and down with the forklift, make sure everything cleared and everything was spot on. So we're gonna get this thing outside, but I'm gonna clean up some welds and just clean the spatter off and prep it for a lick of paint and yeah, bolt the shocks in, get the tub on, and mount some resin.
In the Bon Jovi rolling, living on a prayer. Privy to the gossip that's been said about me. Constant is the life and times of Bumpy Johnson meets Nutley Thompson. I used to rap about death, now I'm only concerned to live. I value relationships still, I keep it competitive. Nowadays, chances are that if you see me throw the match, it ain't to lose the fight, it's to from a burning bridge. I'm from a family of alcoholics and coke addicts. Daddy taught me if the ass is too fat, it's the fact that if you reach your hoe, don't matter, it's still appropriate to scope at it. Living life with no balance, driving drunk on co-pilot, drive it till I toe tap.
Alright guys, so the tub's back on and the triples are up under there mounted, looking unreal. I did a little bash guard here just to protect the resis. I ended up mounting them to the well side using the Profender resi mounts that they give you, so it worked out quite well. But yeah, everything's up under there looking unreal, hope you can see. Yeah, stoked with how it all went together. It's unreal, can't wait to give it a shakedown and absolutely flog it down some dirt roads and over some corrugated hits and just see how it actually performs. So stoked about it and stoked to be on this road to 4x4 Expo. So guys, get along, the Ranger's going to be there in full trim. Come check it out, come have a look over it and see the unreal stuff that we've done to it. It's pretty cool. I can't wait to get on the road. So hope to see you all there and yeah, come give us a high five. Give us a yarn about the Ranger, anything you want to know, just give us a hit, man. Come down to the 4x4 Expo, you do not want to miss it. Man, I always forget to do this. It feels unnatural to say it, but guys, if you can like, subscribe, share, do all that cool stuff, it does go a long way to helping us put out these videos and do this YouTube thing. So thanks for your support, like, subscribe, do all that cool stuff, and we'll keep bringing you some cool content, guys.
Here